yes, the military may have its own military intelligence. They do that all over the world, where you have set up, but you have strict guidelines. I mean, even in the US that we are trying to copy, you can't just go and be looking at people's stuff on the internet. You have strict guidelines to that. In fact, in some cases, you have to get a court order in order to be able to see what that person is. Because if you suspect something, then you go to court and get another to do. But not just they were sitting down there monitoring stuff. I mean, to me, it is anti-democracy. Let us just look at it this way. If the military has concerns, they can set up practices to investigate based on intelligence.
Because I'm just wondering too.
Not because you just sit down and monitoring.
You know, if the military say they are monitoring, and then they see something they consider as terrorism, and they come to you and say, well, we heard something on the internet, we're able to see this. Does that include accessing people's phones, for instance?
Yeah, it can, but again, you see, when you talk the right to privacy, there's no absolute right anywhere. Because you cannot just sit, because I have the right to say something, then I'm going to say, for instance, you walk into a hall where they're having a wedding, you grab the microphone and say, fire. Yes, you have the right to say fire, but now you have put people in apprehension of serious injury because you cause them to panic. Your free speech does not protect that. Freedom of expression does not protect where you intentionally try to cause harm. Yes, under that, you can investigate people. Again, we have the Nigerian police too, we have the DSS, we have all those people, and we have intelligence units and agencies in the country where they can look at things based on articulable, what we say, some sort of probable cause that you have, you are trying to cause harm. Not willy-nilly, just watching stuff that people do on the internet. You are actually violating their rights to privacy.
So what should the military have done in this case?
The military should have, like I said, if there's probable cause, say somebody reported something, and say, oh, for instance, I saw this guy doing, yes, not just monitoring. You can't, I mean, that's a no-no. You can't monitor us. I mean, we are free people, and we have the right to express ourselves so long as we do not have the intention to cause harm. I should be able to express myself on the internet if I'm not causing harm, but to sit back and think whatever I say is being monitored, it's not, to me, it's not acceptable.
So do they have to publish or get a court order if they have to consider any particular case as hate speech having monitored you?
Yes, if there's intelligence that says, for instance, if I stand on the street and I say, or I go on the internet and I start riling people against an ethnicity or against a particular sector of the, I'm standing in the street, people are hearing it. People who are hearing me may report me and say, or who are reading me and say, this is, and then you start your investigation. Now you have probable cause at that point. Now to pry further, you have to have some sort of a court order that says, yes, now go and violate this person's privacy. Go and look into it. Just like any criminal, you just don't walk into anybody's house and search. You have to have a search warrant of some sort.
Speaking about speeches, let's get your concluding thoughts on this one. Not hate, but restructuring. They've been talking about that. Different speeches about that. And I mean, the minister says it means different things to different people from what he's saying. Mm-hmm. Do you think that the country is approaching this the right way so far?
Well, I think we all have to recognize that we're at a point where we have to talk. We need to sit down and talk about this. The agitation about restructuring is all over the country. It's not allowed on the south side or southwest. We have recognized, and the fact that people are asking for restructuring is an evidence that the government is not working. Something is not right. And whatever it is that is not right, we have to sit down and talk about it. I mean, peacefully, I mean, civilly, before it becomes violent agitation. That's what I see. The government is not approaching it right because the government is kind of trying to ignore, oh, this is just, ignoring it is not going to resolve it. The government must recognize that these people calling for restructuring, they have the right to do so. One. Two, the fact that they are talking about it must send a message to the government that this is something we need to address. Whether they support restructuring or not is not even the issue. The issue is we need to address this and find a solution to it.
Okay, that's where we anchor then. Mr. Muyiwa Sobo, a legal practitioner, thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back in a moment. We've got one more lap to go. Don't go away.